Hi, everyone. Welcome to Let's Talk. My name is Nick Cosgrove, and I'm joined today by my good friend, Pilar Lehmann. Pilar contacted me the other day and said, Nick, I got a lot to talk about. So I said, well, come on the channel and let's talk. It's been a while since I've done a talk, so I thought you'd be a great person to have back on for our first few weeks of not doing any episodes. So, Pilar, how are you?
Good, Nick. It's always a pleasure to have be on the channel and have a good talk.
I love talking with you. It's always fun. Before we get into everything, though, I want to ask you, how has everything been with during COVID-19 so far of your business?
Well, last time we talked, it was right before if gyms should be opening or not, right? That was
Yeah,
back in I think before June.
right. The last week of May. That's right.
Yes. So everything has been kind of normal in a way. I'm starting to teach a lot of outdoor classes and outdoor sessions, which has been great. And I'm starting to do some, I'm lucky to have a home gym. So I'll have some clients and I have some small group sessions as well in the evenings. So that's been, I'm not doing all the full hours that I used to do because, as you know, when it's summer, the kids are off school. But I'm kind of back to normal in a way.
Prior to COVID-19, you were training out of a training facility, though, like a commercial grade facility,
I
correct?
was training, what was I training? I was just doing a spinning class in one of the gyms, local
Okay,
gyms, because I don't have spinning classes, but most of my sessions were at home.
right. Okay.
So
Yeah,
that was,
because you guys have this great home gym too, right? Like in your
yes.
garage. So
And
you've been,
just before everything hit, we kind of just finalized and got some weights and we didn't know it was going to happen.
yeah.
And then everything hit and we're like, oh my goodness, we're lucky. Like we have everything, cancel the gym memberships on the gym and here we are.
Have you been training clients out of your garage gym?
I have,
You
yes.
have. Okay.
So I'm lucky enough that it's an open space.
Yeah.
It's literally the garage.
Yeah.
We don't really have a door right now because we didn't think, this was going to be something happening.
Sure.
And before I had another location in my home, but it was fairly small. So we could
Okay.
not keep that. I could train maybe 2 clients at the time,
Right.
keeping that 2 meters apart.
Yeah.
But now at the new area that we have, I'm able to fit 4 people safely.
Okay.
Everybody has their own little station, hand sanitizer. Everybody gets their own weights. So there's no sharing of weights or anything. And of course, between clients, I just, mop everything with hand sanitizer, disinfect the weights and stuff. And that's kind of the new norm, right?
Would you say the majority of your clients have now returned to training with you in person, or is it mostly still done online through Zoom?
It's funny enough when, excuse me, when everything went down, I was training 1/3 of the clients
Sure.
online,
Yeah.
and I just kept one client is still at home, and we do 3 times a week. And another client, we still do Zoom classes, sessions 2 times a week. And that's about it. Most of the people went back to face, which I love. I really, it's such a different dynamics.
Yeah.
But the people that are still online is working great. People getting progress. They're still working from home, or they have the kids, or they just they don't feel comfortable going to the gym, or they're still isolating themselves, which is absolutely fine. So it's nice to give the people the options of face to face or online.
Right. And one thing I actually wanted to ask you before we start everything else is like, have you noticed that, have you had an influx of new clients reaching out to you since COVID-19, especially now that their gyms are closed, that they can't get into their commercial gyms, or they have to make reservations to train at a commercial gym?
It's funny because a lot of the people, for what I hear, the gyms here in Ladner, you have to reserve certain times, and people are not, the people that I've talked to, I heard the gyms are doing a fantastic job, which is great. We have a few, one of the biggest gyms that we have here is Trevor Linden
Yeah.
in Tuason, and for what I hear is doing great, but definitely a younger clientele for what I hear. There's not that many older people, let's say 35 to between the 35 and 60 kind of
Sure.
range, that when I was training back in, before March. It's more on the 30s and earlys, a lot of 20-year-olds, which is interesting. I guess
Yeah.
a lot of the older people are, they're really taking care of themselves. And, it's a lot of, you put in a lot of trust in other people's to clean equipment, and you know, like it's a new learn of living of, you know, before you go into somewhere, like I was hand sanitized, I wear my mask if I'm going to the shops, or if I'm going to go to London Drugs, I wear a mask. I'm a mask wearer, let's say. I can breathe, there's not a problem, my oxygen intake is absolutely fine. So you know, it really depends on what you feel comfortable with at this time.
So the new clients that are reaching out to you, is it out of frustration that they can't get into their own gyms at times that they want to train at? Or is it because more of a safety level? They don't feel safe enough in a big commercialized gym just yet?
Safety.
Safety.
Most of the
Okay.
people that I talk to, they don't feel comfortable at a gym where most of it is breathing the same air.
Sure.
Just feel like, I don't know, they feel unease. And let's face it, where you're at the gym and you're sweating and you know, it's a different scenario than if you go, for example, to get your hair done. You just sit in a chair,
Yeah.
your hairdresser is, you know, is wearing their mask, and you're not really, there's no sweat going anywhere, and you're not really.
Yeah, I get what you're saying.
Spitting.
You know, it's really interesting, Pilar, because I didn't actually even foresee this happening with either of our businesses, that we would actually get busier coming, I don't want to say coming out of COVID-19, but during phase 3. And what's happened in my business is that we have all our current clients like you do, and we have a huge amount of people coming towards us and contacting us wanting to train with us, because just like you said, they don't feel necessarily safe at their gym, or it's more because they don't want to deal with making reservations to train at certain times and, you know, having a certain time limit in the gym. So they want to come train at a private facility where they can take their time, book with their trainer, and they know that there's less people on the floor.
And that's really inconvenient, I find personally. I don't want to have to, you know, what if I couldn't fit my workout at 9 o'clock? And that was my spot. Then I have to look at, I know one of the CrossFit gyms that we have here in Tawasin, they've been doing great because they have made smaller classes, and you actually do have to reserve your time.
Right.
You know, prior, I think you have anywhere between 4 to 6 people at the time.
Okay.
But I have heard that sometimes it's like, oh, you go without a workout for 2 or 3 days because, let's say, the 6 o'clock is always full, and you haven't been able to. So then you're then having to adjust your workout to the dates and times. I know my husband's gyms as well. You have to reserve. Right. My husband's work, it changes. It's a shift work. So, you know, what if you decide to slip in a little bit more that day? You know, I'm running behind with the kids. It's like, oh, shoot, it's 10 o'clock. I gotta go. I'm gonna lose my time. So having that, and I'm not sure how long this slots are, if it's an hour, hour and a half. You know, if you get chit-chatting with friends and stuff, it's like, oh, you know, I'm done. Time is up. So I think that's been a little bit of inconvenience for some people, and the safety factor. But for what I heard, gyms are doing quite well of keeping things clean, and, you know, people social distancing and stuff, which is great.
Yeah. And I think it gives opportunities for business owners like yourself and me who, you know, I'm getting to work with people that I would never have worked with before because of COVID-19. And it's really interesting. And I think I said to you a few weeks ago on the channel, I said, you know, this is a perfect time to reinvent ourselves during this global pandemic. And I think that's something that you and I are both doing right now. And like I said, I love being busy. I know you love being busy. And it's not all about the money. It's more about, we just like to work. We like to help people.
Yes. As soon as June 1st hit, I remember saying to my husband, you know, even though I was busy with the kids because they were here and we had to go to the park, go for a bike ride, go frog hunting, you know, we had to create and make do and be busy. It's not like we were just sitting, putting our feet up and relaxing the entire time, but it's a different type of busy. I thrive when I see my clients and connect with my ladies and how their lives are doing, how the kids are doing. It's such a social, one is social.
It is.
And it's also such a I love interacting with people. It's fun.
Yeah.
I'm a people person.
And you have to be in this industry. I mean, online training is great. You and I both do that, but I think we're both persons. We're personable people. And, you know, we enjoy talking with people and seeing people. And so, like you said, personal training is a very social job, and you take that away from us, it's very hard. Now, I want to get into your news. You contacted me the other day and you said, Nick, I've got some news. I want to talk to you. Let's talk. And I said, okay, well, come on the channel and let's talk. So let's start. What's your news?
Well, we're expecting number 3. which, I've had a lot of questions when people is like, oh, it's a COVID baby.
COVID
No,
baby.
people, it's not a COVID baby. It not just happened. It didn't just happen because we're in quarantine, but it happened during quarantine, right?
Yeah.
We, had been trying, and, everything happened to just go down as one thing was after the other. And that was, mentally was hard because I did not plan to be at home with 2 kids, maybe not going back to school in September, depending how school is.
Right.
And at the upcoming year in January, we don't know what's going to happen. I'm due December 29. So my plan, if I got pregnant the 3rd time, I wanted the kids to be out of the house, with their activities, and me home with the baby.
Yes.
Things might be different. We might be stuck in December all in quarantine again, if that's the case for a second wave. So it was not as planned in the sense of where the world is at right now, but we're excited. It's definitely a change in our lives. It's been different in the sense of seeing my body change this time around. My oldest son is going to be 7 in January, and my middle is going to be 5 in March.
Okay.
For those 2 pregnancies, I was in shape, but I wasn't as good as the shape as I was when I got pregnant with number 3. Okay. So seeing my body change has been a little bit harder mentally, believe it or not.
It has been.
Yes.
How many months along are you now?
I'm 17 weeks now.
Okay.
17 weeks. So getting close to the halfway mark.
And what are you noticing this time around that's different with your body?
This time, I'm also older.
Yeah.
So if you do the math, I'm 40 right now.
Okay.
So when I got pregnant with my first son, I was 34.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm
glad that I'm as fit as I am right now, but it's been more mentally seeing my body change. The first pregnancy, I was ready to gain the weight. I embraced the weight. It was, look at the belly. This is great. Now it's like, oh my gosh. Things are growing in different areas.
Yeah.
It's just a little bit different because I was, don't want to make it all about the abs, but I had my abs. It was tight. There was muscle. There was definition. Things are changing, and I can't stop it.
Are you finding it more challenging as far as are you getting tired more quickly on the floor? Or?
This time around, I was way more nauseous than with the boys.
Okay.
I was nauseous with them, but this time around was harder. But I'm still keeping my training different this time, because when I was pregnant with my other 2 kids, I was just running and I was just doing weights, and that's about it. Kind of like bodybuilding style, lots of breaks. This time around, I'm coming from a background of CrossFit, and I was training to compete in May this year, but competition changed to next year. So I was in competition mode. Okay. So I'm still doing CrossFit. I'm still jumping. I'm still doing, pull-ups. I'm still doing toes to bar. I'm still doing all those different things. That it's funny that in Instagram, I got a message from a follower. I don't really know her. Very nice lady, but she sent me a message saying that I was doing a lot of harm to my baby, that I should stop doing what I was doing, that I was crazy. And I just have to, I didn't engage into it, because a lot of times people talk out of, they don't have the knowledge. Okay. And I did do a post a little while back saying, if you've been following me, I'm an athlete. I've been doing this for as far as I remember. I do not advise, if you're just a new mom that is starting a new, a fitness routine, to follow what I'm doing, because it might not be something for you. This is workouts for me, Pilar, athlete, right?
Right.
So it was really funny to get the response of people of how a lot of cultures, for example, think that, when you're pregnant, you should not be moving. You should be just staying still. It's dangerous. No, it's not dangerous. Actually good for you. It's a matter of who are you training? Is your trainer, I'm a pre- and post-natal certified specialist.
Right.
So I've been doing this, that's my world. So I think I know 1 or 2 things about it.
I wanted to ask you that, because why do you think there are so many misconceptions about when women are pregnant that they should not go to the gym, they shouldn't lift heavy weights? Okay, maybe a little bit of cardio is okay, but no weightlifting. Where do you think that misconception, where does it come from?
Well, Nikki, when Health Canada has different guidelines, just like they do the guidelines for nutrition,
Right.
as they are changing now. For example, now your portion of milk and dairy is being reduced.
They've been, yeah, that's right.
You know, I
They're
can't
still,
remember. I don't
still
know.
a little too high in my opinion, but
It was maybe 3 cups before. Now it's maybe 1 cup,
yeah,
right?
yeah,
Of milk. I remember growing up, it was like, have your milk for breakfast, have your milk for dinner. It's just the old ways of doing things. Now there's different ways, the nutrition and milk industry is all money based, right? So it's
100%.
just, a lot of studies have shown that, when women are pregnant, exercise is great.
Yeah.
A little while back, they were talking about if you have abdominal separation, you should not be doing any exercises, any core exercises, and things are changing because you should be doing things that are going to help you repair the muscle, repair the reunion of things, right?
Sure.
Now, my advice for anyone is do not start something new. Like if you got pregnant and you were running, doing CrossFit, hiking, biking, continue doing what you're doing because your body's already adapt to do that.
Yeah.
And then as your pregnancy progresses, you're going to listen to your body. You're not going to be able to do as much as you're starting to get heavier. Don't start something new. It's not like, oh, I got pregnant, I'm going to start training for a marathon. This might not be the time for you to start something new.
Right.
And you can most definitely start a fitness routine with a prenatal, postnatal classes. Just make sure that your instructor knows what they're doing.
Well, now, Pilar, you've had 2 kids so far.
Mm-hmm.
So run me down through this. So for your first pregnancy, until what month did you stop training? How many weeks out from your pregnancy did you stop training in the gym?
I stopped training at 38 weeks.
38 weeks.
I could not fit on my spinning bike anymore. Like, I literally could not teach any more classes.
Okay.
I could not drive anymore because I was just like,
Right.
It was, I had gestational diabetes with my first.
Okay.
So fitness was a must for me if I didn't want to have to go on insulin.
Right. Okay.
So exercise, like I will eat and I will go for a walk, or I will go to some hills, I will go up and run the stairs. So I was running all the way until like about the same 38 weeks.
Okay. And with your second?
I want to say it's about the same time. Yeah.
Do you think that made the pregnancies easier, like the delivery, or was it difficult for you?
Things, in my opinion, is got to make it easier because you have the stamina.
Right.
I think of delivery is not a sprint, it's a marathon.
Yeah.
You start to labor, you start having contractions, things starting to develop, and it can be for many, many days, or it can be for very long hours, and you can make it for a very strenuous. If you're somebody who doesn't have that stamina, you're gonna get tired. For all the ladies out there, being in a squat position is the best position to deliver.
Right. Is that right? Okay.
Yeah. It's all about positioning and moving.
Okay.
That's why, nowadays, if you have a doula, they advise for you to move, go up and down the stairs. Don't just stay on the bed and just wait for contraction to contraction. It's not the best anatomical position for the baby to come out.
Right.
More likely standing on a squat position is going to be an optimal position for delivery.
Sure.
So having a strong quads, having a strong back, having a strong core, having a pelvic floor that you can actually control. There's another myth of, you should not do Kegels and you should not have a strong pelvic floor because it will make your pregnancy, your delivery harder.
Yeah.
The key of having a good, strong pelvic floor is for you to recognize when to engage your pelvic floor and when to release the pelvic floor and let things, when you're pushing, right?
Sure.
So I personally think it's made easier pregnancies and a recovery. I think it's made an easier recovery overall. Third one is a wild card. I don't know what's going to happen.
Well, it's interesting because when I first got back into this industry, like we're talking almost 20 years ago, when I would get a female client who'd get pregnant, the first thing she would say is, "Oh, my doctor says I shouldn't exercise anymore." And I was a new trainer, so I'm like, well, I'm not going to second guess your doctor. If your doctor says don't exercise, don't exercise.
Don't exercise.
Fast forward now, we go 10, 15 years later, I have clients.
Yes, honey, I'm just on a phone call.
No problem.
You can get it in a minute. Okay, I'll get it in a minute, okay? Thank you. There they are. Never a dull moment.
That's two of them. But now I have clients, and they're more informed, especially my younger clients. They're much more informed, and they know, okay, they'll tell me they're pregnant, and they'll say, I'm 4 or 5 weeks pregnant, and okay, so we just go through the process, how they're feeling. And I've never had an issue. I actually had one of my clients train with me right up to the delivery date, and she actually trained legs with me in the morning and delivered later on that day. So, I mean, and she said it was so much easier for her, and she should fit through the weightlifting. And I'm not saying weightlifting is the magical drug or anything, but she's like, it was a really easy pregnancy for me.
Yeah.
And so I'm wondering, do you think that old school, like you said, you had a follower contact you and say, we're doing harm to your baby. Do you still think are you getting a lot of people saying that, or is it just the odd person here and there?
It was the odd person here and there.
Okay.
I don't take offense of it. I don't really care what people think in a way. I know what I'm doing. A really good friend of mine who's my OB, he follows me on Instagram and social media. He's like, right on, just keep moving. Like, the key is just not to try anything new, because this might not be the best time for it. If you have an injury before, you have to think of it. There's a lot of relaxing in your joints. Maybe jumping might not be a good idea because you're more unstable. Doing lifts from the floor forward, the weight is leaning you forward, so you're taking more on your lower back. So there's a lot of things that you just adjust as you go. Like, I'm still lifting in all my lifts, my body weight, pre-pregnancy.
Yeah. Okay.
And that, I don't know why for me that was important. I'm still lifting my body weight pre-pregnancy. And as things get changed, there's days that I'm exhausted. Like, I've had a hard time catching my breath this time around more than the other two. I remember the first trimester with the other two, you kind of like have that period where you just can't catch your breath. Your body's kind of doing this really high production of blood. It's about 75% of like more blood into your system. And then, your body kind of like gets used to it and you can feel better. And then the third trimester, things kind of start changing again. This time I felt like I gotta go for a run, and I can't breathe. I can't do this.
Yeah.
I don't know what it might be. Bigger baby, who knows? Not too much space. I don't know.
Now, you do work with prenatal and postnatal women, correct?
Yes, that's pretty much my specialty.
Okay. And are you teaching classes with, like, let's say, pre and postnatal women as we speak, or is that something that you
No, I used to teach a lot of my pre and postnatal classes back in Vancouver when I used to be the owner of Fit for Two.
Right.
And then when I moved to Ladner, I kind of stopped. And then, but then when you think of it, a postnatal woman is anyone who's had a baby.
Sure.
Right? So, a lot of my clients are postnatal, but their kids are like 10, 15, 6, 7.
Well, okay. So that's a question I have for you, because I can't answer this question. I have some female clients, and they'll contact me and say, look, I've got a kid, I've got 2 kids, they're 3, 5 years old. I don't have time to fit in the gym. What do you say to women like that, as someone who actually does find time to fit in time for the gym with 2 kids?
You gotta want to fit the time. Like, you gotta want to fit it. You gotta want to do it. Even if you had all the free time. I have a lot of clients that are single. They don't really have kids. They just have the jobs and the stuff, but still like, I don't want to do it. I'm so busy. How am I going to fit it? You got to want to do it. You got to want to make the change, and it's got to be on you. I always say to them, like, what, I'm too old to convince you. This is your problem. You got to want to make the difference. Simple. Whether you're a mom of 3, whether you're, there's definitely some limitations up to a point of when am I going to train, how many times a day, but you got to fit it in. Simple. It's, for me, my training is a priority. It's non-negotiable. The same with my husband, simple. That's how we roll. But we grew up like that.
Right.
I grew up always an athlete. Some people, they've never had that influence on their lives. So training is new for them, right? Their 30s or their 40s, right? Sure. I've always played sports. So for me, in a way, it has come easy. I like competing. I thrive with it. But a lot of people find it really, really hard to really fit it in and make the time.
Right. And what about diet? Has your diet changed for this 3rd time around, or have you kept it the same?
Definitely more carbs.
Okay. Yeah.
Definitely more carbs. The nausea, just having some salted crackers. A piece of bread with butter has been saving. I don't crave the carrots, but I'm still doing my meal prep. I'm still doing the same. I'm still doing my overnight oats in the morning. Still eating about the same. I haven't had as many cravings per se this time around.
Okay.
I've been eating everything.
Yeah.
So I'm not too concerned about my weight gain because I know I can do it back down again. I've done it 2 times. I can do it again. Whether it's going to be harder or not, we will see.
You know, one thing I remember, and I can't remember if this was your first pregnancy or second one. I can't remember, but I think it was your second. And you were at, we were training back at, I want to say it was Groundworks. I think it was Groundworks.
Yeah.
And you came in and you were training with your son on your back. He was in like one of those little backpacks on the back, and you were actually training a client on the floor, and you're giving your client your full attention, and you're doing great service. So, I mean, it goes to show that you can, as a working mom, I mean, you made it work.
Like both of my kids have been, my youngest, my oldest, I used to take him to teach classes from the beginning. So
Right.
He was stroller, eating his snacks, whatever. And then the second, they have no choice. They're like, let's go, guys. It's time to go teach.
So I want to switch back over to COVID for a moment. And we're in phase 3 here in Vancouver.
Yes.
I don't know if we're going to go into another lockdown come the fall, but let's say we don't, and more gyms start to reopen and we get, you can go back to commercialized gyms and train your clients and so on. Will you do that, or are you going to stay at your home and train clients from there and online?
I'm going to stay at my home.
Okay.
Definitely. Okay. Yeah. I don't think I canceled my membership at the gym. My husband also canceled his membership. Like we have, I think for us it's more of a cautiousness reason, like we don't want to, like my husband already goes out there and works. He's the one that is in the world. And have opened my bubble to some of my clients to extent. Yeah. I think adding more locations to go. Right. In my personal opinion, for us, for our family, it doesn't make sense. It's not the best.
You're right. I remember when I first broke into the industry, I used to train at a lot of, and I think you did too, building gyms in Vancouver, downtown Vancouver, right? Apartment building gyms. And I'm like, I'm saving so much money because I'm not having to pay my my costs to a gym, so my overhead is lower. But then I'm thinking my travel time from one gym to another gym to another gym, it's not worth it. No. So, you have an advantage. You're at your home, so you can train people back to back. And that's the way I like it too. I'm not at my home gym, but I have a gym, but it's a private gym, so I can do the same thing. Are you finding it?
That's changed a little bit because I used to train clients 7:30, 8:15, 8:15 to 9, 9:45. Right. Because I do only 45-minute sessions. Now I do give myself a 10-minute to clean, sanitize, chit chat with clients, put stuff away, make sure I mop, disinfect everything. So whoever's going to be coming in, they have their station ready. So that it does take time, right? So I definitely have cut some of the hours because I don't want to end up working until 10th and 30th. I want to sit down and catch up in my, in my shows.
Well, have you had any clients say, hey, look, Pilar, I'm not ready to come back yet. I just don't feel comfortable with the coronaviruses. You have?
Yes, I have.
And so what do you say to a client like that?
No problem.
Okay. Yeah.
It's a really strange time. And I think at the beginning, a lot of people were, I don't know how to say this without sounding bad. I need to find my words.
No, say what you want.
From the beginning for us is a matter of, I looked at it as a matter of health. It's a very new virus. We don't know the side effects. I ended up getting pregnant at the same time. There's not much studies going on if the mom can pass it to the baby or not. My son has asthma. He gets a cold and he has to go into puffer, so for us it's been like, we definitely have been more cautious than other people, which is fine, I know a lot of people out there that still feel like, oh, it's just a little cold. Fine for you, absolutely, no judgment. But for me, for our household, we're more aware of it, per se. Yeah. And I think we're going to keep it like that. Yeah. Because like I said, it's very new. Are we going to have another lockdown? I don't know. I hope not, because I think the kids need to go back to school. They need that socialization. My kids and some group of friends, we have started, letting the kids go to a park, now that, Bunny, because we do what Bunny tells us, has said, parks are okay, social distancing. It's been hard for the kids to keep that social distancing, but they're learning and they're quick learners and they're resilient. Yeah. But I think for them going back to school, for people to get back to their jobs in a safe manner is important. Can we do it safely? I don't think so.
Yeah.
I don't think we're going to be able to, that's just my personal opinion. If you open schools and you put 30 kids in one classroom, that's not social distancing. That's not safe. We might be able to do it for September, October, because it's not cold season. Yeah. But as soon as cold season hits, I have 2 kids. They're going to get sick. One gets sick on Friday, but the next 3 days, the other one gets sick. So they're going to be at home for 2 weeks at a time. So
yeah,
am I going to send the kids to school? We might not send them to school.
Yeah, it's got to be so challenging when you have kids, and even for the kids. I mean, imagine being a kid growing up during this right now. I mean, you can't see your friends, and even when you can't hug your friends. You can't, these are things that you and I grew up doing, normal things.
And the tribe of contact, the tribe of their friends, the tribe of like that physical interaction. And we consider ourselves lucky with my husband because our kids are young. They're 6 and 4, right?
Right.
Yeah,
you don't know. Somewhere around there.
This is all they know. And they're very, when we switch from schools to online, they're like, oh, what? Okay. And now if you ask my son, the oldest, like, hey, do you want to go back to school? He's like, no, I'm liking being mom and dad, and he wants to continue. And I think he's learning. I don't know.
You hope he's learning.
When he graduates from high school.
Yeah.
But, we told him how school setup was going to be.
Sure.
And he said, I don't want to go back to that school. Yeah. I don't want to go back to boarding school. At least right now, we're in the summer, we're outside all day, as much as we can. September, the fall comes around, it's going to be a different story. And I hope I'm completely wrong, but we might end up in another lockdown.
I think you're right. I think we will. I think, as everyone says, the world's going to be a different place once COVID-19 has ended. One of the things I get a lot of feedback from clients, especially during COVID-19, was they would contact me when gyms were reopened and say, hey, are you open again? I'm like, well, we personally never actually closed. We were a private facility, so we could still keep that social distancing. We were able to, and I think I told you this off camera. But one of the things I'm doing, I notice you're doing this too, is we're not necessarily promoting and pushing people to get back into the gym. Because everyone's got their own level of comfort. And in my opinion, there's no overreactions or underreactions. There's just simply reactions. And so it's not my job to comfort someone and say, no, the gym is a safe place. Please come back. Just because I want that client back in the gym. I'm like, you come back when you're ready. You're an adult. You can make that decision. And, I kind of get frustrated because I see a lot of trainers on my Instagram and gyms actually saying, come back to the gym. It's safe. It's COVID. I had one gym actually.
It's safe.
Exactly.
We have no idea what we're doing.
Yeah. And there was actually, I'll tell you off camera who it is, but there was a certain trainer who advertised it was COVID free. And I'm like, you can't promise someone that your gym is COVID free. You can't say that.
For what I hear in the news and stuff, the cases that are finding is more people in the 20s or 30s.
Yeah.
And that, upsets me because those are the people that were invincible with the millennials.
Yeah.
Everybody can, do whatever they want.
Exactly.
F off everyone. It's like, no, because of you, retards, I'm in the home with my children.
That's right. And, in the US, I've seen, I don't know if you've heard of these COVID parties that people are having.
I know, Nikki, that's just, my family is in Colombia. It's a completely different. We're so lucky here in Canada and in BC.
Yeah.
My family's in Colombia and things are not looking good. Like they're starting to get to the point where the hospitals are deciding who gets a hospital bed and who doesn't. And when you get to a system and that's happening, it's just not right. It's not right.
And you look at people, like yourself, like your son is immune compromised. I have friends who are immune compromised. So, we want to be extremely careful. Like, you and I, we could be asymptomatic. We could be fine. We might get a little run down, maybe a little bit of flu, but nothing serious would happen to you or I per se. Although we don't know because this thing constantly mutates itself.
It's a 50-50 illness. You might hear that person who's 30, 21, and they were in incubator for 30 days, 60 days.
Yeah.
It's a gamble to get COVID. You don't know what's going to happen. So in my opinion, with more in reason, you should be more concerned. We should be more, it's not just a simple cold. For some might be, for some others can kill you.
And, there'll be some new trainers that might watch this and say, well, you guys can say that because you and I have both established a clientele base. So I think you and I will both be fine because we have a loyal clientele base. I mean, I know you've had clients with you for over a decade, as have I, and we can work with them online or in a private facility or at your home gym. So I think you and I are going to be okay. And it's easy for us to say that, oh yeah, it's fine because our businesses aren't really affected. But for other people's businesses who are affected, I mean, what do you say to those people? I mean, should they just like say, no, come back to our gym, come back to our business? Yeah,
I think these are times that you have to diversify.
Yeah.
You have to become, see what else is out there. Yeah. When everything happened with COVID, I started helping a friend of mine selling PPE. So I started selling PPE, hand sanitizers, looking for bottles. I've learned so much about plastic bottles and things like that in a month. And PPE and the, isopropyl and what a ton is. You have to diversify. Yeah. I started in a skin product and now sell Rodandafields products. And that's a business on the side as well. Yeah. I think we have to kind of, you have to diversify and see what's out there. Yeah. I don't know, go and cut some lawns. It's the summer. Deliver some papers. I don't know, like we're lucky that the government is giving a lot of help. Yeah. That help is not going to be there forever.
It's not.
But, people that are hoping that the help is going to be there forever, you should start be thinking about something else. Yeah. Restaurants are starting to open. So, go do some, dishes.
And
I started when I first moved to Canada. I used to clean bathrooms.
There you go.
That was my job. I used to clean bathrooms and cut onions and peel onions. It was gross, but you gotta do it.
But that's how you have a good work ethic. And I'm the same way. I started working at a very young age. I mean, I was a busboy from the time I was 15 to like 17, busting tables, like, making no money. I think back then minimum wage was like $7 an hour, maybe less. And, you just work, you just do what you can. I've always said if the gym shut down tomorrow, I'd be handing out resumes. I don't care if I'm a dishwasher. You just do what you can to survive, right?
You have to do it. You have to diversify. We all have different skills that we don't even know.
No. And there's a lot of people sitting at home right now, twiddling their thumbs, blaming wherever they work, whether it's a hotel or a restaurant or a gym, and saying, it's their fault, we're closed, we can't do anything. I'm like, well, no, it's your responsibility to get up off your ass and start moving around and find something that you can do.
Yes.
The people are hiring right now. There are places looking for people.
Amazon is hiring. Canada Post is hiring.
Yeah. A lot of restaurants are actually hiring now too. I walked by.
I look at Amazon hiring. I'm like, I can go deliver for Amazon.
Yeah, and I think that's fine. I think if you can find another source of revenue during this time, do it, right? And
absolutely.
And work on yourself. It's a good time to do it.
It's a good time.
Are you going to be documenting this pregnancy on your social media platforms?
I have. Yes, I'm going to continue. You guys will continue to see me get huge.
Yeah.
Coming. And the journey will continue and you guys will see the changes and how I adapt my pregnancy and how,
awesome.
Slowly I just roll on the floor.
Yeah, no. And I've shared your social media information before, but I'm going to put all your contact information in the link below so people can get in contact with you. I think especially too, because I actually know a few people who are going through pregnancies right now, some people who are a few months along the way. And, I think you're the perfect person to reach out to.
Absolutely. Any questions, I'm more than happy to answer questions. If I don't know the answer, I always say I will find the answer for you. And, I've been doing this for too long.
Yeah, it's the experience.
I love it. And
that's the sad part. You have the experience, you have the training experience, but also, I haven't had 2 kids. So women can't relate to me, but they can relate to me. Right? Yeah, no, as far as I know, there's no kids out there. So I'm planning on keeping it that way. But, I want to thank you so much. I love talking with you. It's always fun.
Thank you, Nikki.
And congratulations on your news.
Awesome.
And this video should be going up sometime on Monday. So again, something to look forward to. And Pilar, I hope to have you back on the channel again. We have to get another iron debate on there. It's been a few.
I love the debate. That was really fun.
Yeah, that was fun. For some reason though, I don't know what happened. Phase 3, all the gyms open, and everyone started contacting me all of a sudden. I'm like, uh-oh. So I'm going back to doing. Remember back in the day when you and I used to do like 14 hours on the floor?
Yeah.
That's what I'm doing right now, which I'm like, this is crazy, but I'll take it. Yeah. No, I know. I feel like it's day one all over again. That first year in training.
Good, like if you're busy these days, take it.
Yeah, exactly.
It's a gift.
Well, and look who I'm talking to. I mean, you know, and we don't bitch when we're busy. It's great to be busy, but you get sidetracked from other things. And I actually love doing this. So I love talking with you, and
Absolutely.
we'll have to get an iron debate in the next few weeks and do it again. Pilar, thank you so much.
Thanks, Nikki. It's always a pleasure to have you, be on your show and just answer questions and chit chat, right?
Yes. And
Awesome.
I want you to get your channel, and then you can invite me on.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah. You got some free time now. Together. Pilar, thank you so much.
Thank you, Nikki.
Have a great weekend.
Bye.
Bye.